Yes, no. So we are live on air. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome those on the Twitter X Spaces. Brian Kambao here will be your host today. And I have none other than the legendary, the myth. the good man, Kenneth Wanyama.
I didn't know it was a myth.
Yes, I'll be introducing him in a while. But you're welcome to Fat Talks, and we are live on Smart 24 TV. Those that are with us on air, you're welcome. Please get comfortable, because we are really going to talk about the comfort zone and it being the number one hindrance to growth. So those that are with us on Twitter, please do keep the comments coming in. Please share with your friends. Now, allow me to tell you about Fat Talks. So Fat Talks, it's simply FAT, F-A-T, which is faithful, available, and teachable. It's a slogan. It's a commitment to people that are faithful, that are available, that are teachable. And every Thursday we meet here to bring you great speakers, to bring you great topics, to bring you exciting things. Last Thursday, we had none other than the CEO, actually the executive director of the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises Uganda, Mr. John Walugembe, and he was telling us about finance options for startups and SMEs. So those that missed it, you can catch the recording on our Twitter and also the recording from Smart 24. And that happened last 16th November. So today we have Kevin. Kevin, welcome.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Happy to see you. You look colorful. You're dressed in a bow tie, an African bow tie. Yes. Those that are on Twitter and can't see him, he's a nice, handsome, dark gentleman dressed in a colorful bow tie. And he'll
you're going to get me in trouble with the ladies.
With the ladies.
Okay. Yeah.
They will be fine.
Okay.
So friends, let me tell you about Kevin. Okay? Now Kevin is an energetic and enthusiastic, right? He's actually very optimistic as well. He's a Ugandan, and he has a fervent desire for impacting the world in outstandingly positive ways through innovation and love for humanity. Kevin is the CEO of Zenith Orators, so I can imagine he's very good at public speaking, and he has delivered talks and lessons on this. Zenith Orators is a company providing a variety of speech services, and a co-founder of a startup called miholo.com, which is an all events website. He's been working formerly as a quantity surveyor with New Plan, a leading engineering consultancy firm, where he's also served as the manager of the Architectural and Building Services Department. He's currently pursuing his MBA from International University of Applied Sciences in Germany. Kevin is also a member of the Rotary family, currently a member of Rotaract Kampala City, where he's serving as the vice president. Oh, Your Excellency, you're very welcome. He's passionate about leadership, public speaking, and you would most likely find him playing a guitar in his free time. His favorite mantra is that if not us, who? If not now, when? That is by Hillel the Elder. Welcome, Kevin.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for generously reading my profile. I like the ending part, which always motivates me, by reminding us that if not now,
then
when? And if not us, then who? Which I think fits very well into today's topic, because we're trying to leave the comfort zone, and comfort zone requires a bit of urgency.
Yes.
And that's when the if not now, when comes in, because it needs a bit of urgency to actually attack those areas in our lives that need to be addressed.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting that you begin it that way. If not now, when? Now, when I hear you start with such a quote, and the topic that we're discussing today, which is the comfort zone, and it being the number one hindrance to growth, in your opinion, what is the comfort zone? what is this so-called comfort zone that people talk about? How does even one know that they are in the comfort zone or that they are being comfortable?
Well, that's an interesting question. If you could allow me to answer it with an anecdote.
Yes.
Just a short anecdote. And once upon a time, there lived a gentleman, so many years ago before technology came and automobiles and all these things. So we're in a village, and in this village there were predominantly farmers. Now this young man admired a lady, just like any young man would like to admire a lady and hope to marry them. So he admired her so much, and he believed he should marry her. And without wasting time, he wasn't a movie like most of us. He actually approached
the lady.
The lady, and then consequently the father of this lady.
Yes.
So the father of this lady happened to be a livestock farmer.
Yes.
And he had a number of bulls and livestock, like you could imagine. And he said to this young man that, well, I'm really flattered that you have interest in marrying my daughter. However, like you understand, I'm a father. I've invested so much resources into this child of mine, and I would like them to have the best life and, most importantly, the best husband. So I'll give you just one simple task. You can see I have so many bulls in this crowd, and I would like to ensure that the husband, or the would-be husband to my daughter, would be not only brave, but also a person who is willing to face a challenge. So all you have to do is grab one of the bulls by the tail. If you grab one of the bulls by the tail, you'll have proven to me that you are brave, courageous, and you can face the challenge, and therefore you will deserve my daughter. So the guy said, oh, I love your daughter so much, and I'm willing to do anything. So let's have a go at this, right?
Yes.
So he gets into the kraal. The idea was that he opens the kraal and then a bull runs out. And then he's supposed to jump and grab the tail of this bull.
Oh, wow.
So he gets into the kraal, bull number one. He has 3 chances. Once the 3 chances are done, then he has to march home with his hands between his legs, because he won't have any lady to accompany him back home that day.
Yes.
So bull number one comes, very fierce, ugly, aggressive bull.
Very energetic, as I imagine.
And then he thinks to himself, okay, I love this girl, but I also love my life, right?
Yes.
So when the bull comes, he runs for the fence and just jumps onto the paddock, and then the bull rushes past him. So bull number one is missed. But he knows he has 2 more chances, so he says to himself, well, I have 2 more chances, so let's see what bull number 2 holds. So he goes back, braces himself for bull number 2. They open the paddock again. Bull number 2 rushes out. This one is even more fierce, bigger, and more aggressive than the first bull. And he says, no. There's no I'm losing my life for bull number 2.
Yes.
So he runs again for the fence and jumps onto the paddock. There goes bull number 2. He takes a deep breath and says, now I have only 1 chance left. I don't want to be a laughing stock. Whatever happens, I really must grab the tail of bull number 2.
Number 3 now.
Yes, number 3.
Yes.
Good. You're following. That's very nice. So now he braces all the courage he has, calls on to all the gods in Oz for his entire lineage now, and says, I must grab the tail of bull number 3. Gets onto the paddock one more time. They open the paddock again, and there comes bull number 3. And then you would see a smile on his face, because to his amazement, bull number 3 was much smaller, much more calm, and much more little compared to the first 2
It was
bulls.
not as ugly and fierce.
Not as ugly as fierce. So he says, oh, patience surely favors
those that wait.
those that wait. So yeah, so he braces himself. He knows there's no way he can fail to grab the tail of bull number 3. So bull number 3 passes, and then he jumps, and then mid-air, the smile fades from his face. You could see all the optimism fading from him, because to his realization, mid-air, bull number 3 has no tail. So he falls onto the ground with much despair, with no hope left in him, because bull number 3 actually has no tail. And just like that, he's not able to walk away with the lovely lady. Just like that, he embarrasses himself and becomes a laughing stock of the village. So the comfort zone is where he was for those first 2 bulls
Jumping onto the fence.
jumping onto the fence and fearing to get into the area of discomfort. So the comfort zone, just to use that anecdote, is that area where most of us are in our lives, where we believe that, okay, that job could be better, I could earn more money, but the discomfort of going through the application and being rejected, and then going through the interview phases. The comfort zone is that wonderful lady who sits next to you in office at work, who you see every day when you walk in, but you don't have the guts to tell her. You keep telling yourself, tomorrow we'll be there. There's the end of your Christmas party, I'll talk to her then. The comfort zone is that idea which has been dangling in your mind repeatedly for the entire year. We are now in the 11th month of the year. But you've been telling yourself, next month, next month. So the comfort zone is just that illusion that we are held onto every day, because God is so kind to us, He gives us another day to live and another month. So because of that illusion, we keep holding on to this idea that yes, tomorrow will be there, that I can do it next month, I can do it next year. So that really is the comfort zone, an illusion of comfort that prevents us from launching out into the deep, from launching out into an area of risk, from launching out into an area of greater possibility and greater growth.
Wow.
Thank you.
Interesting. Very, very interesting anecdote. Well, I happen to own cows and bulls, so I was trying to picture myself actually jumping to touch the tail of the bulls.
To grab the tail.
To grab the tail. And I also know that some bulls have lost their tails, so it's an actual reality that holding a bull's tail is calling for death. In law, we call it volenti non fit injuria, when you invite yourself to a place where you can actually be injured. And I wanted to transition, picking from your story of comfort, to just understand the person, Kevin. I mean, the little background that we've seen is that you're a rotoractor, you quantity surveying, you have a history in that. And I wanted to know if you could tell us a bit of your background, where you have studied, what you do, and if you've had any bits of comfort zone challenges, or you being a CEO, I imagine you've had to encourage people to not be comfortable or to keep on the lookout for when they are holding onto the fence instead of rushing to grab the bull's tail. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for that question. I think I would like to narrow the answers to things that relate most to the topic, which is in line with the comfort zone. So I've been fortunate to grow in a family, of course, of a father and mother who have invested resources and also encouragement and a lot of wisdom to ensure that we try and get an optimal kind of atmosphere and environment to not only grow ourselves as children, but also to grow ourselves as individuals. But if I'm to speak particularly in relation to the comfort zone, I would like to relate to a most recent experience. Like you heard earlier, I used to work as a quantity surveyor. And at some point, I was always running Zenith orators on the side. And like, you know how a side hustle is, it's something you do after 5, eh? Like, oh, okay, now I've handed in my report to my boss. Now let me go to my side hustle. Let me follow up on these clients and see how they're doing. But you see, the challenge with that is exactly what it is, a comfort zone, right?
Yes.
So the comfort zone in this case is your employment job, where I was fortunate to work with one of the most reputable engineering consultancy firms in Africa. So you can imagine the comfort zone that comes with that. You know, there's a lot of, it's a going concern. You're going to be paid every month and things of the sort. So your side hustle really becomes something that is at the periphery of your mind, something you rarely think about. But then I realized that if I was to grow this passion which I had of Zenith Orators, the company that's invested in public speaking services like public speaking training, emceeing, and things of the sort, I had to take a bold step. Because like we all realize, most of these well-structured organizations, they say 8 to 5 on the contract, but we all know it's actually More than that.
It is 7 to 9.
7 to 9, and sometimes you have to put in the weekend. So you're left in a position whereby your side hustle really becomes totally abandoned.
Yes.
And if you even spare some time, you could actually go and check and you find cobwebs, and you might have to remove some cobwebs from the side hustle because everything is just now covered in a lot of abandonment.
Yes.
So I took the bold step of saying that I'm actually going to focus more on my business. And I recall when I told my dad about how I was going to resign from my employment to focus on Zenith Auditors, he was not very amused, him being a person who believes in the structured growing career and then do your master's and then do your PhD. So he wasn't really amused with that. I don't think there's anyone I told that I'm actually transitioning from being an employee of a well-structured going concern like that to, and no one will come the idea. But there I was, I took the bold step. I resigned from the company trying to be the next Steve Jobs. You know, all these guys kind of left the normal route of life and then kind of ventured into this unknown area. So I also took that leap of faith. Of course, at that point you have these ideas of, you want to be the next billionaire and you think things will be easy. But guess what? I transitioned from adequate, predictable cash flows to inadequate, unpredictable cash flows. And recently we had a public speaking masterclass, which we held in October. And the projections I had were not met when it came to ground. So what I'm saying here is I've had a good chunk of facing the non-comfort zone, if I'm to call it, because you're resigning from your job and then getting into this area whereby what you predicted to happen is not happening, and then you are stressed out, and then you have so many debts. People are calling you, the landlord is calling you because you don't have the predictable revenue now.
Yes.
And then you don't have stories to tell the landlord. So it becomes a really uncomfortable area to live in, and at some point you start to ponder and think, but maybe the guys who actually stay, the costs are right, because this side of life is really not the most comfortable, because even your mental health gets challenged. You start to rethink your ideas. You start to think, am I really a failure or something? So leaving the comfort zone is not entirely something that you need to do if you're not prepared for it, because it comes with a set of challenges. You're leaving an area of predictability to an area of unprecedented unpredictability.
I know.
Two opposite ends, like the North Pole and the South Pole. They never meet. It's just constantly the opposite ends, and it can be challenging if you do not prepare yourself mentally along the way, because no one prepares you for this when you jump into the deep end, but you jump into the deep end and you must swim. So for some reason, you could understand when guys face a challenge getting into the uncomfort zone, because there are deeper waters with sharks, and sometimes you need talks like these, which I'm very thankful that Fat Talks has done to ensure that someone is prepared way in advance before they jump into the deep end.
I know you raise valid grounds, and as you spoke, I was just reminded of the discomfort that the entire world had to go through during the COVID-19 lockdown. And for 2 whole years, people that were accustomed to having that monthly paycheck, to having some sort of cash flow coming in, I think what I hear you talking about is that when you see your cash flow being checked or your cash flow declining, then you're beginning to get into the uncomfortable. When it has been constant and you don't have to worry about it, you can sort of live through the motions, or like our beloved president spoke one day saying, in Uganda, even a fool can survive.
Yeah.
But today, we are seeing that it's getting harder and harder to survive. We are one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. Every other day, people are innovating. Every other day, people are leaving, paying jobs like yourself, leaving a quantity surveying job to go into public speaking. You're innovating and trying to push out of the comfort zone. And I wanted you to speak more about that. What got you to thinking, you know what, I am being comfortable, you know what, yes, I'm earning a paycheck, I'm earning a salary per month. It may be small, it may be big, but it's coming in every other month. but when I want to pursue something that I love, something that I am passionate about, what got you thinking of moving away from the comfort to moving into the discomfort? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that really mind-tickling question, if I could call it. I want to start with one of those recurrent kind of anecdotes, if I could call it.
Yes.
Where one of the motivational speakers says that the cemetery is a place on earth with the greatest of wealth. The most wealth on earth is found in the cemetery. And the cemetery where you find books that were never written. It's in the cemetery that you find lovers that were never sought. It's in the cemetery that you find cars that were never bought. It's in the cemetery that you find all these amazing things that were never actually pursued.
It's where you find the gentleman that failed to touch the tail of the bull.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there, most certainly by now. So the cemetery is that books that were never written, business that were never started.
Yes.
Cemetery, you find innovations that were never given to the world for us to enjoy them. Imagine Nikola Tesla or Thomas Edison had died with their ideas. So it's because of that idea that you could die, you could be in the cemetery with your wealth, deep somewhere in your brain, most likely it's rotting at the time, or somewhere in your heart, the passions that you had for these ideas. And you'd be rotting with these ideas and adding to the wealth in the cemetery. And yet you would have added that wealth here on earth if you had taken the bold step, if you had taken the leap of faith on yourself to actually pursue those ideas. So when you listen to things like that, you start to think that how should I spend my wealth? Should I spend it in the cemetery? Or should I actually invest my ideas here on earth? So that's one of the things that tickled me, to actually think different and say, okay, after hearing this, what am I doing about my ideas? My coins, how am I going to invest them? Should I die with them in the cemetery and add to the wealth in the cemetery? Or should I invest them here? So that kind of sparked me into launching myself.
So what I hear, and I think you're speaking about something important here, is that if you have an idea and it keeps nudging at you, it keeps tickling and twitching, your fingers are aching to touch something yonder or something beyond your reach, that's an indication that you need to do more. Because I know for a fact that you may be working at a workplace, or you may be working out in the field with your bare hands and feet, and yet you still keep thinking about this one idea. So now, for you, for example, that was in quantity surveying, and every other day you're doing quantity surveying work, you're dreaming of public speaking, and yet I know surveying requires you going out into the field or counting quantity of what the construction will take entirely.
Yes.
And you're barely meeting people, and you're thinking, I have this dream, I have a dream. How can I let it die in such an environment? What can I do more? So what I hear you saying is, step one, identify, do you have something that itches you from within, something that you've constantly thought about, and it keeps recurring, resounding every other day and pushing you to do something about it? Is that your first indication that, hey, you need to do something about this area?
Certainly. I think if something keeps you awake in the night, and this is an idea that you believe you must pursue, then that's a good starting point as well. Though I think the second point would have to come in with the competence. It's important that you have the competence to deliver on these ideas. Why I launched into public speaking is because my graduation, I think that was back in 2019. Of course, normally at graduations, you give a speech as the main celebrant. So when I gave my speech, I got a lot of feedback. I think one of my dad's friends said, oh, your son speaks well. I think you should consider a career in speaking. But before that point, I'd never considered a career in public speaking. And then at my workplace, we had a Christmas party. And then people, the ladies approached me and said, the receptionist and people who are in the humanities and the HR department approached me and said, so we have a party, we have no MC. How about you be our MC.
Yes.
So people, it was more like an externally induced ideology into me, because I'd never considered speaking, but because of the external people telling you, okay, you actually do this well. So I said, how about I give it a try? And so when I gave it a try, I kept getting more and more positive feedback, and that's how I was able to pursue it.
Yes.
If I'm to relate to a different example, imagine you make cookies at home, and every time you have, if maybe, I think, for example, you most likely go to back in the village for Christmas holidays.
Definitely.
So every time you have these cookies, your aunties say, oh, the cookies are nice, then your cousins and then the nephews. So you start to think, wow, the market has responded. Something I was doing just out of the blue now seems to be having traction. So let me try making more cookies.
Yes.
And then you make more cookies, and then the traction keeps increasing, and then somehow people are following your cookies, and you build a brand. So I think the first step is that, but then competence also has to come in, that what you are pursuing, is the market responding positively to ensure that you should invest resources in terms of time and money to keep running this race as well.
You also mentioned something about external approval, and I know also from personal experience that one of the ways to actually discover what it is that you like to do or that you are fairly good at is for people to compliment you, for people to tell you, I noticed that you speak well, I noticed that you're good at this, I noticed that you're good at making cookies, I noticed that you're a people person, so have you considered emceeing? So from your experience, would you recommend that people pay heed to external approval versus internal drive or internal push within the individual?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And I like that it feeds into our discussion of leaving the comfort zone. Because we realize that both of those things need someone to leave the comfort zone. Just to get the approval alone, you need to leave your comfort zone, because people must see what you're doing.
Yes.
If you play guitar well and you always play it in your room, because that's the comfort zone ideally, no one's going to know whether you play guitar well or badly. So you could stay in your room, lying to yourself every morning, singing to songs of Adele and screaming, more like creating havoc in the house. But because you stay in your room, no one is going to know. No one is going to be able to let you know if you sing well or if you play the guitar well. So leave the comfort zone, leave your room and play at a birthday party of your little brother, and then guys can tell you, oh, you play the guitar well or badly. So that involves leaving the comfort zone. The second thing now, which needs internal conviction, where you asked me between getting the external validation and then also your internal validation, which of these two must you pursue? I think, firstly, the external validation must come from a genuine point of view. Because often a time here in Uganda, especially, trading banyo, if I'm to call it that, we don't like to hurt people. So it's much easier for me to tell Brian that, Brian, you see, your sense of style is good. Even if I don't believe Brian's style is good, because I don't want to hurt Brian. So that's why you have to be objective in selecting where the feedback comes from.
But for the record, my sense of style is good.
Of course it is. That was just an example. Oh, that's a good one. But yeah, so that's why the feedback must come from a variety of sources. Let my sister tell me I speak well, my sister. Then I go to work. Then a rare person who I've never met before tells me, wow, Brian, your ties are always nice. Where do you get your ties from? And then I leave that place, I go to the market. Then someone in the market tells me, someone who cares nothing about me, who I care nothing about, tells me also an opinion about the same tie. That's most likely, that means that feedback is most likely genuine. Yes. Because my sister, who I met, say, my sister, she wants data at night. She might be lying to me, right? So that's why you take it with a grain of salt and say, she could be lying to me. But then I can't, my workmates and then this lady in the market all can't be lying to me.
Yes.
So when you average that data and aggregate it, it most likely comes from a genuine point of view. So how you get your data is very important. Especially parents now. I think we live in an era where now even the kid who's the last in a race gets a medal.
Yes.
So you can see we live in an era where there's a lot of skewed feedback. Fair feedback is not genuine. Yeah, the systems now are more liberal, so there's a lot of lies that are going to come in. So a parent could tell you, oh, please go and play basketball. Yet you know it within yourself that at school, you're the worst player of basketball, but your parents keep encouraging you. So you have to be objective in how you get your feedback. And then getting into the conviction area. So once you are sure that the feedback you are getting from the market is genuine, you're getting it from a different data points, from a friend, a sister, and then a workmate. So these guys are all unrelated and they're giving you the same feedback. Now you can sit within yourself and say, okay, from all the market feedback I've got, how can I design a strategy to get into the market with this feedback, and also design a unique value proposition whereby I'll stand out in the market, I'll be unique, and I'll also be able to have traction.
Wow.
To grow a brand and also grow my profits if you're trying to pursue a business line of sorts.
I like that you've pointed out a systematic way to sort of decipher validation. If you have different sources, different unrelated people, I mean, it cannot be a coincidence that you've had someone on the street, someone in the bank, someone in the market telling you the exact same thing about a skill that they have seen within you, or an attribute, or just something different. I think what I hear you saying is that we need to be more in tune with our environment and the people that we relate with. But more importantly, we need to relate with people. We need to showcase your talent. You need to showcase your skill set in various environments for you to say, I think I can carve a career out of this unique thing that it is to me. And I want us to transition, because we've been speaking about the comfort zone and it being the #1 hindrance to growth. I want us to transition and start to talk about growth. What does growth look like? But before we get into the growth, I just will be having a short break, and I just wanted to remind us that the Fidelis Leadership Institute has been happening, and there's a cohort that will be graduating tomorrow, December 2nd, and we really give a special shout of praise and congratulations to them. Congratulations to the people that will be doing the graduation ceremony happening tomorrow. That is the FAT Fellowship. I also know that the next cohort will be starting February 2nd, February 2024. So those that are interested in doing the fellowship with the Fidelis Leadership Institute, please do sign up. You could ask any questions on our Twitter, on our handle, on our LinkedIn, and they can quickly respond to you. So for now, we'll have a 2-minute break, and then when we return, we'll be answering a very important question, and you should be thinking about it, Kevin. We have a culture here where we ask you to mention 1 truth and 2 lies. And then the team online on the Twitter Spaces and on the various social media that we have with Smart 24 TV will tell us which one is the truth, which one is the lie. For now, let's take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be back shortly.
All right, thank you.
Smart 24, driving business.
Ugandans come to Ginger City every weekend, and December 16th, 2023 is Uganda's end-of-year party as Smart FM hosts the Smart Swag Fest Season 2. Don't miss performances from Uganda's top DJs, MCs and artists like the king herself, City Baby, and her full band, Fig for Maker, UG Boys, Kesmon Switch, King Zamba, Waymaker Official, Voice Nasi, Zach Tom Rizla, Lance Soldier, and many more local artists. Let's meet at the Chairman's Back, next to Ginger Showgrounds. Get your early bird tickets now at 15K and at the gate 20K. Gets open from 10 a.m. till late. The Smart Swag Fest is organized by 89 Smart FM and Hot Shots. Powered by Smart 24 TV, Sisan Suits, NBS Cordeo, GZ Mechatronics, Ginger Hippos, Kampala University, Albeit Electronics and Solar Center, TMU Tubing and Rafting, Banji Uganda, Quad Biking Ginger, Cable Giants, Stardom Visuals and Audio, Bidco, and Club.
Tastefully different. Not for sale to persons under 18.
This holiday season, we wish you the freedom to enjoy all your football. wish you fun and lots of Ugandan entertainment. We wish you a good time together. So turn up the volume on your favorite show and be merry all day long. We wish you laughter everywhere in the home. We wish you and your loved ones a very DSTV holiday. Stay connected to DSTV family at only 64,000 shillings and light up your festive season. DSTV Uganda. It's your moment.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
It's Football Madness with GOTV Season Eno. It's battle after battle on GOTV. All the Premier League and Serie A games, La Liga and UEFA competitions, the biggest football competitions in the world, live. Get your Go code for 39,000 shillings that comes with a full month on GOTV Plus to enjoy the Football Madness. GOTV Uganda. Love it.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back online. For those with us on Twitter, we like that you have continued to be with us, and we hope that you're enjoying the discussion. The discussion we are having today is about the comfort zone and it being the #1 hindrance to growth. We want you to share with us via the Twitter Spaces and online. What does that mean for you? How have you been in the comfort zone? Do you even know that you are in the comfort zone? How do you get out of it? How has it hindered your growth? And we've been having Kevin Wanyama here as our guest at the FAT Talks organized by Smart 24 and Fidelis Leadership Institute. And he's been telling us about his journey, him being an entrepreneur, him being an innovator. He has left the corporate world to pursue his passion of public speaking. And he has a company that is doing that, which is Zenith Orators. So once again, as your host, Kambaho Brian, and I am an associate partner with the Kedia Advocates. So back to you, Kevin.
Yes.
Earlier we spoke about what the comfort zone looks like, and you narrated to us how it is easy to want to keep the money coming in, but you're not exactly pursuing what you love. And you gave us a story of a gentleman that loved a particular girl, but when he was given a task, he couldn't get out of his comfort zone to achieve it. And then we've been trying to discuss what the comfort zone looks like for many people. And I want us to return now more into the corporate world, because the listeners that we're having and the people that are watching us online are in that kind of space, and they are more growth driven. They want to know that, okay, before I even understand that I am in the comfort zone, I am pursuing growth. So what does growth look like in the Ugandan context for the employer, for the employee, for the corporate world, for the entrepreneur world, for the innovator, or for those that are looking for employment? How would you describe what growth looks like?
Yes, mostly growth is based, of course, on parameters that are set by the individual. We all know, like, the 100 meters race has a finish line. And if you have been running 100 meters and you have been losing, you know that, okay, last time I lost, but I ran 14 seconds. So that becomes your new kind of mark to beat. You're like, okay, I have to run 13 seconds now. So by consistently having a benchmark that you are running against, you achieve growth. So firstly, why people, I think, struggle with growth is because they don't have any established benchmarks for the start. Like someone wants to, for example, lose weight and perhaps grow their confidence and most likely also grow their areas of their life, but they don't have a parameter they're basing against. If you are 80 kgs, then your parameter should be that I want to be 75. And then from there, you can grow consistently. Another challenge is people want to have exponential growth in a short time. You're 80 kgs, but you want to be 50. So you go to the gym for 3 months, and then when you don't clock 50, you're going to become frustrated and you're going to abandon the whole thing. So there's also that level of you must have manageable steps while you're pursuing growth. Say I'm 80, but I'm going to start with 75. So when you hit 75, you're going to have that dopamine rush. You're going to be like, whoa, I've achieved my goal of 75. So you're going to get more motivation to move slowly and steadily to hit the 50. But if you want 50 as the first goal, after 3 months you're still at 88, you're going to abandon the whole thing because there's no excitement. If I'm to just share a short anecdote at how growth could be pursued in a progressive manner.
Yes.
I will tell you a short story about the Chinese bamboo. Now, those of us who have not heard about the Chinese bamboo is a very interesting kind of bamboo in China. And it's very frustrating to grow because when you put the seed of the Chinese bamboo into the ground, you don't see any movement in the ground. You don't see any shoot coming up from the ground for 5 years. For 5 years, you have to water and nurture the seed in the ground. For 5 years without seeing any progress at all. You won't see any ground movement. You won't see any shoot coming up from the ground for 5 years. And then guess what happens in the 5th year? On the 5th year, it shoots up to 12 feet tall in just 2 weeks. Someone might ask, has the Chinese bamboo grown to 12 feet in 2 weeks' time or in 5 years and 2 weeks? Which answer is correct?
5 years and 2 weeks.
5 years and 2 weeks. And yet for 5 years, you didn't see anything happening. But now the enemy to our era now is most of us are not willing to have the 5 years under the ground and just let it be.
I know that we've actually been described as the microwave generation.
Yes.
We want it quick. We want quick results. We want chap 1 week.
Want something we can post on
1 year.
Instagram.
We want to be the CEO in 1 year, and yet it requires time. It requires the 5 years for you to actually begin to see tangible growth.
That's correct.
That's a bit of encouraging, especially because, I mean, it's been said that if businesses make it to their 5th birthday, then they have succeeded, or they are a bit stable, and many do not make it to their 1st, to their 2nd, let alone their 5th. And 5th could be growth. And from the biblical context, and I know that we're also trying to be faithful here, I know that Jesus was buried, literally, for 3 days, and he rose again.
Yes.
And for the believers out there, sometimes it takes a little bit of faith to believe that you will rise, that the opportunity will come again. So speaking about growth, I know I interrupted your story and you are driving at a particular point with the bamboo shoot.
The Chinese bamboo, yes.
Yes, the Chinese bamboo. How do you then connect that to the growth and the comfort zone?
Yes, so how that connects to growth is that oftentimes growth, and the best way to have growth is if it is silent. Because there is that, I don't know, I'm not superstitious, but often a time when you let out something before it matures, it actually does not come to fruition. So if you are trying to cut weight, don't go first day in the gym and you're posting a selfie. And interestingly, most of the people I see who do that,
Yes.
when you check on them after 3 weeks, they've abandoned.
There are no more selfies.
There are no more selfies, they've abandoned the entire gym. So basically what they're just living for is that high of posting a selfie and getting likes. So have your growth done in silence. Because success speaks for itself. You see, success just does not hide. Zuckerberg, I don't think he posts on Twitter every day, but regardless whether he posts or not, his success, and even if he posts a question mark, we shall like and retweet a question mark, because success speaks for itself. But what hinders growth, I think, is people not willing to be patient with that phase where they're supposed to be investing time and resources with an ideology at the head of time. So, what is growth? Firstly, have a goal in mind. That goal, if I'm to use the analogy of the Chinese bamboo, is you want to have a Chinese bamboo which you can use later for construction or something of the sort. Have that clear, definite goal. Second most important step is, what does it need for me to achieve that goal of growth that I'm trying to do? So write down what you need to do to achieve that goal. Have clear steps and clear guidelines. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get step number 1 of the goal and put it very far hidden away. I don't know where else, maybe in your wardrobe or under your bed, because that's not important now. And then you're going to look at these steps you've written down. Now you're going to get obsessed with these steps, because without these steps the goal is not important. The challenge is when you keep looking at the goal, you're going to get distracted from the steps. That's where the problem comes. Step number 1, I must wake up at 5. Now you're going to do that every day. When I wake up at 5, I'm going to jog in the neighborhood. Now don't look at the goal of 60 kilograms. Now that's now hidden very far down the shelf. You're not looking at that. You're looking at, I'm going to be running before going to work every morning. Now that's the action point you're going to be focusing on every day. After doing that, I'm going to do some push-ups. I'm going to get back, shower, and then put on my clothes and jump onto the next commuter taxi or get into my car. Now, I'm going to be doing this every day. And periodically, I'll maybe check on the weighing scale, how far have I gone. But that's not important. What's important is this, because unless you build these habits that are going to direct into you reaching your goal, you'll never actually achieve the goal. I'm using the issue of weight, but this applies to every other parameter of your life. Let it be career, let it be anything else. Just have these clearly written down action points. And then when you pursue relentlessly, obsessively these action points, the goal will just manifest itself into existence naturally. Before you even realize it, it will just come by itself. And I think that's the challenge that most of us really face, that we put so much effort on the goal and get frustrated when we don't get the goal, and then we forget that we must actually focus on the action points, because without those action points, the goal won't come into existence.
Wow.
Yes.
Very, very well stated. For you to be able to actually quantify growth, write down, have a goal, first of all, write down the steps and guidelines to get to that goal, and then have bits of consistency to achieve that particular goal. And it's important that Kevin here reminded us of the bamboo shoot, because you need to bury it. So if it's a goal, you know it's at the back of your mind, so bury it at the back of your mind. But do not forget that for it to grow, you need to feed it, you need to water it, you need to keep serving it, then one day it will shoot. You know, it is actually said that if you are trying to plant even a bean seed, which is something that grows the fastest, if you're checking on it every other day and removing the dirt from underground to see, has it grown, has it begun to sprout, has it begun to shoot out of the soil, it will actually never grow. But you bury it underneath the soil, you cover it, you do what you have to do daily, which is supply it with water, supply it with whatever nutrients you have to add with the mulching and all, and then you know that it's only a matter of time that it's going to grow.
To shoot up. Yes, thank you for that. That's
that also got me thinking about the employers, because sometimes the employers, and I know many that are watching and are listening to us online, may be in the capacity as an employer, and the employers actually take a leap of faith with the employees. It's year one, it's week one, it's month one, and the employee is not producing the results that they were originally hired for. But the employer believes, because they saw something profound in this particular employee, that they are going to come out. And in their second year, in their third year, they begin to bear so much fruit that was not as visible and as tangible in their first year. So as an encouragement to any employers out there, is that yes, please remain patient and consistent in watering these young people that are growing. It is uncomfortable, because we're also talking about the comfort zone. It's uncomfortable to pay people that may not necessarily be producing results, but eventually it bears fruit because you're doing it with a particular goal in mind. So Kevin.
Yes, Brian.
How then does one avoid the comfort zone? Because it's a hindrance to this growth. As soon as you discover that you're being comfortable, what should you do?
Wow. Yes, what should I do? What should you do when you realize you're being comfortable? Now, often a time, what causes people to get comfortable in the first place is, besides having unclear goals and an unclear purpose in life, it's also lacking a level of accountability to yourself, and also, if you are fortunate to have someone you trust, an accountability partner. Because ideally, when companies set targets, I like how companies run, companies that have good corporate governance structures, because there's no company that sets targets at the beginning of the year and does not have an end of year meeting where they now just check how far have we come. Some companies are fortunate to have quarterly progress meetings and review meetings, just to see, okay, we set this target for this quarter, how far have we come? We set target for this biannual segment of the year, how far have we come? Most companies that are well structured have this. But we human beings, who are the most important company in the universe, because it would not exist without us, we don't have those kind of accountability areas in our lives, where you set a goal and then you come and check how far have I come. So I would recommend that you get an accountability partner, because that person will help you to not only leave the comfort zone, but stay out of the comfort zone. For example, if you have this partner, you've told that, yes, I'm working on my side hustle. I want to make sure that I can have it registered by URSB and have a TIN number and also have a bank account. And most importantly, have products. That person should be able to come and consistently check on you and remind you, hey, Sarah, you said by now you should be having a bank account. Where is the bank account? You see? So now that's going to force you to leave the comfort zone, because you're going to be like, oh, man, you know, I had put that thing on the side. I mean, blankets and wine came. I spent the money on blankets and wine. But anyway, thanks for reminding me. I'm going to work on it first thing on Monday. So that's going to force you to leave the comfort zone. Some people are fortunate to be stoic. Tony Otoa, I think, is one of those people who believes in stoicism, whereby they can naturally, by themselves, have that sense of self-direction to constantly punch themselves on the head and say, no, Kevin, you said you're going to do those 5 push-ups today morning. Why haven't you done them? But most of us are not fortunate to be like those people.
Yes.
Most of us are not. That's why having an accountability partner, someone, an external party who cares and is concerned about your growth, coming in and consistently nudging you and telling you, you said you would do this, why haven't you done it? That will help you to leave the comfort zone.
Yes. And speaking of nudging you and reminding, I'm also reminded that I beg your pardon. I'm also reminded that you had 2 questions to tell us, 3 actually, as is the culture here. So for those that are listening in, we want to hear from you. Tell us 1 truth and 2 lies, and then the audience will guess which one is the truth and which one is the lie.
Okay, so I have to just mix them up, and
Yes.
then they choose. Okay, so I'm going to start now. First one, I am married to a beautiful, wonderful, and amazing wife. Second, me and Brian here went to the same school and we were in the same class. The third is, in my younger time, I went to the seminary and I was trying to be a priest to come and bless you, give you blessings now, for example, in this session. Those are my 3 statements. I don't know who, you can now guess which of them.
So the first is that?
First is that I'm married to a beautiful, amazing, and wonderful wife. Second, me and Brian here went to the same school and were in the same class. The third is I went to the seminary to pursue priesthood when I was in my secondary. Yes.
Well, there you've had it, the 3 questions or the 3 statements. Which one is the truth? Which one is the lie? So do please comment on the Twitter spaces and in the Twitter chat room, but also those that are watching us online. Please do share what you think as the truth and which one is the lie. And we shall confirm later which one is which at the end of the show. So once again, those that are with us, please, I hope you are taking notes because there is a lot to take home here. Are you being comfortable? Are you in the comfort zone? How are you getting out of it? But more importantly, how are you pursuing growth? Because there will be so much to frustrate you and keep you comfortable, and yet you need a little resistance to actually achieve greater heights. So Kevin, we were still talking about how to navigate and get out of this comfort zone. And I know that we are coming towards the end of the program. So let's break it down, package it nicely, and send whoever is listening and whoever is watching us off with a target, a goal, and a commitment to get out of that comfort zone.
Yes, I would want to obviously live by leaving you with a dose of knowledge, which of course you'd have to self-seek. We're talking about leaving the comfort zone. There's a book called The 5-Second Rule. The 5-Second Rule. I think someone who is pursuing the ideology or the concept of leaving a comfort zone, that book would go a long way to ensure that they can help them jump onto that track. It's called The 5-Second Rule. The writer I forget, but if you look it up, you'll be able to understand what the book is about. But in principle, what it says is that whenever you feel you're getting comfortable, especially in the area of procrastination, you only have to count from 5 to 1. And by the time you reach 1, you just push yourself out of that comfortable area that you're in and you pursue what you set out to do. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go for whatever you're doing or you planned out to do. If you're in a networking event and there's that CEO of a 5-star bank here in Uganda and you want to talk to them but you're uncomfortable, you think they won't give you time, you think, oh, who am I? How about if they don't talk to me? You start counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you march towards that CEO, introduce yourself and speak to them and introduce yourself and say, I like your work and like what you do. So that's just an example of how the 5-second rule works, and please look for that book and use it. And then to close with a quote that you've already heard before by Hillel the Elder, it says, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Let that be your moving mantra for the rest of the week and the weeks ahead. Close the year with a bang. Close the year with motivation. Close the year out of your comfort zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And I know earlier you spoke about accountability, and I dare say that there is actually no growth whatsoever without accountability. So if you are not being accountable to anyone or to someone, even to a system, a simple system as the weekly reports, the monthly reports, the quarterly, biannual, annual reports, or a review of the end of the year. Tomorrow is December, today is the last day of November, and we're saying, thus far we've come. How has the year been? Who have you accounted to? Have you been comfortable? So as you start to plan for next year, and I have a friend who actually always reminds me that the year ends in November. And to this friend of mine, their last day of the year is today, 30th November. And they use December as the eve of the new year to start saying, okay, the whole of November, I am planning for the new year. I am already in the new year. I'm already thinking about the new year, such that as soon as it hits 1st January, they are already running.
They set off running, yes.
They set off running. Because what happens to the bulk of the population is that on 1st January, it is still a holiday. They're still in holiday mode. They're still back in the village. They're just coming back. They get back, and the first week is very dull, very mundane, very dragging. The second week, before they know it, it is 90 days of January, and they are barely done anything. So February begins to kick in, and that's when they're just getting onto their feet. So they actually begin to be active in March, but they have lost 2 months.
They've lost over 2 months, yes.
So this is one of the ways to get you out of the comfort zone and say, let me start to plan for next year. This year is gone. Did I hit my target? Did I achieve what I set out to achieve? If I did not, how do I achieve it in the coming year? I now have an opportunity to act. And earlier, I have a friend who has this up in their office. The word ACT, A-C-T. Action changes things. So as you said, the 5-second rule, you want to do something, count to 5. Count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do
action.
It.
Yes.
Take action, because action actually changes.
Well, I like that.
So
At least I'm going to take that home tonight.
Indeed.
Action changes things.
Action changes things.
Wow.
So if you have, you want to get out of that comfort zone, you have this idea that has been tickling you for the whole year, for the whole last 3 years, act on it. Start by writing it down, as we spoke earlier. Set out to achieve particular timelines, then just start to do it. Small steps, but they'll bear a lot of fruit. So, from our audience, I don't know what the poll looks like. We had questions, and Kevin here told us 3 statements. 1, that he is married to a very beautiful wife.
Yes.
I don't know why I would object to that. 2 is that he's been my classmate all through law school. 3 is that he actually was in the seminary in his
trying to be a priest.
Trying to be a priest.
Yes.
So which one
Change
is the
lives.
truth?
Spiritual.
Which one is the lie? I don't know how our poll is looking like, but I know some people voted. Some might have gotten it true, some might have failed it. So Kevin, tell us, which one is true?
Okay. I'm married to a beautiful wife.
Well, for the fact, for starters, I think you look like you've been in the seminary. Is what I would think.
Why would you think that?
Because the seminarians love to plan. They are particular on how they set out to do certain things, and the way you told us, have a goal, write down your steps, and be consistent.
Wow.
Those are virtues of a seminarian.
Of a priest.
But I could be wrong.
No, you're right. Actually,
I could be
I
wrong.
didn't know it's that obvious.
Oh.
Yeah. I left priesthood to pursuing a priest to marry, but I'm not married, so I don't know what's happening. I might have to go back. And then
Yes.
So I went to the seminary. That's the correct one. So that means me being in your class is not correct.
Yes, I'm a lawyer. You are a quantity surveyor.
I'm a quantity surveyor. So yes,
so it's
that's not correct. And then the other one is not correct. I'm not married yet. The cameras here look okay, but they're not female, so I don't think I can't take any of them home.
I know.
But that's okay. Yeah. So those are the answers.
Thank you. So if you guessed it right, a huge pat on your back. Once again, we are Fidelis Leadership Institute. The Fat Talks, they happen every Thursday. And today we hope that you've been blessed. You've enjoyed the session on the comfort zone and how to get out of it. The comfort zone is the number one hindrance to growth. Next week, we'll be talking about self-worth, owning your time, owning your value. And we have Caroline Egesa, who will be taking us through that session. So next week, Thursday, 7th December, please do tune in live on Smart 24, live on the X Spaces with Fidelis leaders. Keep here from Kevin and myself. Merry Christmas. Please, December is here, and tomorrow is actually 1st December, which is AIDS Day. So please do look out, because that has also been rampant in Uganda, and we're doing our best to curb the growth of AIDS. As a final announcement, there'll be a graduation happening tomorrow for the FAT Fellowship that will be graduating 2nd December, and there's a cohort that will also be starting in February. So if you would like to sign up to be part of the Fidelis Leadership Institute FAT Fellowship, please do sign up as soon as possible. We love you, and goodbye. Merry Christmas. Ciao, ciao.
Smart 24, driving business.
Oh, that's wonderful! And that is what champions do!
It's football madness with GOTV Season Eno. It's battle after battle on GOTV. All the Premier League
Space well, and scores
and Serie A games, La Liga and UEFA competitions, the biggest football competitions in the world, live. Get your Go code up for 39,000 shillings that comes with a full month on GOTV Plus to enjoy the football madness. GOTV Uganda. Love it.
Jovia. Ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu. Nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa. Amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ageewala ennyo. Okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo. Ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kumuko ki ky'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
Is my joy. Ono bulu magiki wange. Ayo, talaba kumabala atukuza n'onyirirawo kirako ennyange. Tayisa bubi faburiki kyonna kyekiri kigwa lwa bulu magiki. Bulu magiki is my choice. Ono bulu magiki wange. Blue magic is my choice. Hey, oh no, blue magic, wange.
This holiday season, we wish you the freedom to enjoy all your football. We wish you fun and lots of Ugandan entertainment. We wish you a good time together, so turn up the volume on your favorite show and be merry all day long. We wish you laughter everywhere in the home. We wish you and your loved ones a very DSTV holiday. Stay connected to DSTV family at only 64,000 shillings and light up your festive season. DSTV Uganda. It's your moment.
Smart 24, driving business.